Man, what's good? What's good? It's your man. See one of my vintage Grambling AF. Shout out to Grambling State University. It's your man Rico. And I'm gonna do my part. Have a conversation or bring up a topic on I guess this begin the first week in May. Because I heard somewhere that May is considered Mental Health Month. So I want to one who's working mental health and substance abuse treatment for the past 27 years as a master's level social worker, licensed alcohol and drug counselor, and in my home state of Tennessee, I'm a licensed master's level social worker, LMSW, yeah. And so I've pretty much treated folks across the board. And hey Ina, what's up? I want, and by the way, like, share, and subscribe this particular video, because it's on my Rico the Opinionist group page, as well as my YouTube channel, Rico the Opinionist, OPINIONIST. And also, hey, kind of read around in that description box. It has my book in there. It's a 50-page short story. The title of it is The Greatest Pain Ever Felt, a conversation with an absent biological father who never wanted to be found, or who dared to be found. It's one of those. It's only $10, $sign Rico the Opinionist. Or you can do $sign Rico Rivers. I think they both. Rico Rivers as an RIVERS. So, should you decide to hit your boy up and get the short story, it's in a PDF format right now. So if you hit me with an email, once you hit me with that Cash App, I can email it to you directly, okay? All right. Hey, Rhonda. So, look. Just recently in Memphis, my hometown, because, even though I've been in Dallas-Fort Worth, this August will be 16 years. But just like that old crooner, Tony Bennett, when he says, I left my heart in San Francisco. Well, same thing. I left my heart. Let me do my Johnny Taylor. I left my heart in Memphis, Tennessee. Ooh, oh. There you go. There's my Johnny Taylor. All right. Tino, what's good? Cuzzo. So, recently, I guess late last month, in April, 12-year-old boy shot at his mother, shot his sister, who eventually died in the hospital as of recent, in the last couple of days, and then turned the gun on himself and killed himself. And so, y'all know I had to go and find the story. If anyone's ever heard any of my lives, have ever heard me over the many years, my forefront, my main topic has always been the development and the protection of black boys. Not to the discard or ignoring of girls, but I understand that you can't have a society without healthy boys who will turn into healthy men. Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu stated, if you want to have broken men, you first have to break them as children. And this is what's been going on for decades. We're complaining about a lot of these adult men, their behavior, or arrested development, or lack of maturity or responsibility. But let's go back to these households that they grew up in the last 50 years. Guess who's been raising these boys? When y'all say the fathers are absent, well, who was there raising them? And so that's why I pay so much attention to boys and what's going on with black boys. Because if these black boys aren't treated kindly, aren't nurtured, aren't cared for, aren't empowered, aren't built up to be great, well, tragedies like these occur, even when they're little. And there's this ongoing campaign, Black Girl Magic, Black Girl Rocks, and boss this and boss that. And I'm not knocking that hustle because it's a campaign. It's a campaign of empowerment. And a lot of women and girls have bought into that hook, line, and sinker, even going against nature. So what I'm saying is, black men, where's Black Man Mojo? I created that a few years ago, and my other, that's for black men, Black Man Mojo. Don't steal it, it's already copyrighted. Number 2, the other one is copyrighted, it's called Black Boys Are Incredible. Hashtag Black Boys Are Incredible. That's my thing. Is contribute to the empowerment and upliftment of black boys. Not because I think one gender is better, just like every other racial and ethnic group understands that's raised under a patriarchal system, they understand if there's no men, there's no society. So our society has pretty much been broken down because it's just women everywhere. A lot of women are not very feminine, they're masculine. I said, damn, we go ahead and get into that because all of this plays a part. Because one thing about this story, when I went back, plays a part of it, sorry. And one thing about this story, when I tried to find some information on it, it had what's called a basic covering of the story. He shoots at his mother. His sister dies. And then there's a place in the story where it says the reason or the justification is yet to be known or yet to be stated. So they know why he did it, but they're purposely holding back why. Why? Why don't y'all tell why? Because no one ever asks why do when stuff happens to black boys or when they quote act out unquote, no one ever asks why. One who's been a counselor, therapist all these years, even if you're in the medical field, when you go to the doctor, you say I have a stomach ache. Well, they try to find the foundation. What did you have? What did you eat earlier? Something you ate, and what did you put in your body? Well, for me, I ask the same questions. Where'd you come from? Where do you think this behavior comes from? What happened to him? Who did something to him to push this type of reaction out of this 12-year-old boy? And again, let me go back to what I said. Due to the fact that our community has been raised for the last 50 years by majority women. No one wants to go there, ever. When I talk about crime, I said, let's go back to these households. Well, it don't matter because people need to be here responsible. But no. There's always an origin. I always tell my clients, there's always a foundation to our behaviors. There is always a root cause. There's always. Except for if we think we're pointing it in the fingers or pointing the fingers in the direction of women. Isn't that something? Because no one wants to answer or speculate, even be dignified enough to speculate, well, why would this boy go after his mother and then shoot his sister? And I don't have a problem with asking the question, what did they do to him? What kind of upbringing did he have? What conditions was he forced to live under, emotional and psychological conditions? You know, and can we imagine? We can't imagine how many boys who are raised up in an all-female environment and just kind of lose it because they don't have any other psychological, emotional outlets. Let's say, especially when you have a mean mom and a bitchy older sister and bitchy older female cousins, and you're the only boy or the only two boys in a house of probably 12 women and girls. That'll run a boy crazy. And on many levels, he acts out violently or he just turns into one of them, a little bitch. And it is out of control. Let's see, cause and effect. That's right, Rhonda. So, why aren't we asking these questions? You know, we're going to have to stop dodging the pink elephant in the living room. Again, for the past 50 years. Our children have been raised mainly by women. And look at them. You got this weird-ass broad, Ebony K. Williams, who is an attorney from a pretty good law school and pretty good undergrad education in her 40s, No, I wouldn't date a bus driver. He needs to own the bus company. Baby, and that's a whole nother video. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But that's the kind of foolishness that a lot of these girls are raised up under to have responses like that. It's dumb. And so, also, my second reason for bringing this up under Mental Health Month is this whole thing making everything about attacking the NRA, and we need to have more gun control. Let me tell you this last article. I put it in here. It's in the description box. They said, well, because I saw the news too. I saw the news coverage. It had some older black lady from Family Crisis Violence Center there in Memphis and say, it happens and it's so unfortunate and blah, blah, blah. Really a bunch of nothing. And in this article it says, well, we really need to get down on making sure that guns aren't so accessible to children. I don't make this a gun issue. And I get tired of people, instead of asking why people are behaving in such a way, you try to sweep it under the rug and make it, well, we really need to, this is what the lady said. We really need to concentrate on mental health. We really need to concentrate on mental health. And then you have this other side saying, we need to get rid of the guns. It's a gun issue. No, I'll always stand by what I say. It's not a guns issue. It's a people issue. It's not a gun control issue. It's a self-control issue. We've gotten so far away from teaching the basics of what is right and wrong, and we've gotten away from the emotional and psychological nourishment of our children. Y'all know what that looks like? Hugging them, empowering them, letting them feel safe, that you have their back. Teaching them about stuff. Don't make everything so damn taboo. The reason guns seem to be a problem, in the black community, because the masses of us won't even teach them about basic gun training. You look at these videos all over the internet. You got these white families with their 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old daughters shooting automatics. But everything else, sex and guns, seem to be taboo, but they seem to get their hands on sex and guns the most. So why do you make that stuff so taboo? Teach them about the stuff. It's just like a kid whose mother and father, his father puts him in karate after school. And you can go to that school and check out his records of behavior, his record of conduct or behavior. That kid who learns how to box, and that kid who learns karate, those are the two groups of kids who get in the least amount of fights, in the least amount of confrontations, because they've been trained and disciplined in a particular art. When someone learns about something, they're calm, they're confident. They know, they understand the importance of what they've learned, and they're taught that your hands are weapons, and they respect it. Well, you don't teach kids about guns. You don't teach them how to shoot. Teach them the laws behind it. Or you teach your young daughters and young sons about sex and sexuality, the real sex and sexuality, not that homosexual crap. They respect it more, so therefore it's not used as an emotional coping mechanism the way sex is for a lot of people. And teenagers, it's not such a curiosity-driven activity the way a lot of young people do with guns and sex. Did y'all hear me? Hear what I just said? We're not paying enough attention to our children anymore. We're so busy working. We're so busy in school. We're so busy now these days on social media trying to be heard, especially when you have children. And you can be a single mother. Pay attention to your damn children. Instead of trying to show your ass on Instagram talking about you still got it. You're still trying to make yourself sexually desirable. And you got 3 kids at home by 4 different baby daddies. Or you're a broad over 35, over 40, still in videos trying to do TikTok dances while you wearing old lady booty shorts and tight dresses around your church booty. Out of line. We're so into, as the old preacher would say, into the flush, that we ain't no good. We done fell for the worldliness of Satan. And then you have this 12-year-old boy. No one wants to ask the question, what drove this boy to want to shoot his mama and shoot his sister and then commit suicide? with that same gun. That's what my concern is. I don't give a damn about y'all trying to get famous off of attacking gun rights. Let me tell y'all something about that shit. That's easy. That's easy. Did y'all know if I want to become an internet sensation tomorrow, I can stand outside in Texas, anywhere in the city of Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, where I live, or I can go to my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, and I can hold up a sign that says, we need to get rid of guns. We need more gun control. I would make the evening news. And then next thing you know, I'm invited to all these panels, discussions, and then I'm invited to the White House, invited to Diana Ross concerts. But you'll never get famous as a black man talking about what's going on with black people, really, and what's going on with black children. You'll never get white attention except for, well, I understand, but they won't stand around you except when you get on an issue like gun control. See, that's an easy topic. Did y'all hear what I said? It's easy. It's an easy go-to for anybody who wants to be famous and be made famous for not really doing anything except for cussing and fussing about something that you can't really control. Gun manufacturers are not going to stop making guns because y'all mad. However, I'm going to be fair. Now, if y'all can convince them to do what's called sensible gun laws, cool. So I want to see what that looks like. But we continue to dismiss what should be going on in the household, that is raising children. Not parading them around. Not trying to be their friends. Not you as a parent still trying to be cool and show that you still got youth. No, those days are over. When you decide to have a child, your youth, your importance is over. Your job is to make sure you push forward a decent, well-mannered, well-balanced, emotionally well-balanced human being. That's your job, is when you decide to make the choice to become a parent. And we continue to push the stuff out on society when shit should be pushed in your household. That boy came from a household. He didn't come from society. He came from a house from that mama. And I say that mother because no one's mentioned a father yet. Or a father has not come forth yet. So who knows, after I finish this video, maybe a father will come forward. So we're going to have to stop the foolishness. Stop with the deflection. The damn deflection is not about gun rights, gun control. It's not about that. It's about people have given up their their responsibility as parents. You give them handheld devices to keep their attention instead of being creative as a parent. You send them off to other people. You got girls that long time ago still started. You send your baby off at 6 weeks old to a goddamn daycare. A baby who can pretty much get imprinted by anybody at that age. 6 weeks old, you putting your baby in daycare. That means you weren't supposed to have no baby, you stupid broad. If you cannot be at home with your child, that means you shouldn't be having no damn children. Do you understand that? Not only do these folks have one, but they have 1, 2, 3, about 4 and 5 different baby daddies. And first thing these heifers want to say, I'm a single mother. It's harder. But you chose to be that. Unless you got married and a divorce happened. But still with that, there's some co-parenting. But you around here, high school, sophomore in college, or you're 30-year-old something, you got a law degree, 35-year-old with a law degree, a doctorate, you realize you're too much of a bitch for anybody to get along with, or you're too headstrong and masculine because you've been in the boardroom for the last 15 years, that a man don't want to be around you, little hard-handed, heavy-handed, big forehead ass. So you want to go to a sperm bank. It's the weirdest thing. And I know I'm not living on this planet alone. I know I'm not the only one with 20/20 vision. And let me go back to what drew this 12-year-old boy to want to grab a gun, to shoot his mama, shoot at his mama, but missed her, trying to kill her too, and shoot his sister. She eventually died, then turned the gun on himself. Until we get to that question, everything else I'm just going to ignore, because we're scapegoating the issue. It's not about no damn gun control or NRA. It's not about that. the crime that's going on in these cities. I'll go with you when you say, hey, I believe it's planned and on purpose. I think there are governmental agents involved in all this foolishness that's going on in these major majority black urban cities. I do. Because one thing about it, that power structure, that white power structure always has a plan to take over. Jackson, Mississippi's going through it. Flint, Michigan going through it. They muddy up and poison the water. Memphis has been going through it. Memphis is a majority black city, but the way it operates, you would think that they're like only 10% black folks, because whites would make up like 30% of Memphis, something like that. But hell, they run all the money, they run all the real estate, run all the politics. It's like apartheid South Africa in Memphis. It's like apartheid South Africa in Jackson, Mississippi. It's the weirdest thing to behold. You got all these black attorneys, black PhDs, black master's degrees, all these so-called intelligent people who are in these leadership positions, and nothing is moving the needle for black people. It's the weirdest thing. What's up, Eric? Robert Lee, what's good? Big bro. And so, again, black Memphis, black Dallas, Jackson, Mississippi, all these majority black cities. What gives? Why are we standing around acting like waiters at our own dinner tables? Shout out to Color Purple. I'm going to ask for the fourth time, I guess. What do you think drove a 12-year-old boy to want to shoot at his mama? She must have dodged, missed that bullet, obviously. But killed his sister, dies, and he turns the gun on himself. Until we have that real conversation about the protection, about the nurturing, about the empowerment, the importance of the protection, the empowerment, the nurturing of black boys, I don't want to really talk about anything else. Because that is the key to a lot of these things. Empower the boys. Empower the boys. Because even if you didn't empower the girls, you empowered the boys, guess who still benefit? The girls. But if he's not, as they say in Memphis, a homosexual, he gonna give some money to a woman, he gonna buy some food for a woman, he gonna house, and as they say in Memphis, caretake a woman. So all this over empowerment of girls, all you're doing is doing women a disservice. Empower the boys, black America. Because see, I'm talking to black people, because they're the only ones who bought into this whole hype of empowering the girls. You got Negro male politicians. I expect the women to do it. That's why I don't vote for women politicians. I know what their game, I know what their policies are. Homosexuals, women, children, and immigrants. But you got these black male politicians, only the Democrat liberals, black male politicians. The first thing that come out of their mouths, and y'all stop listening to me, go and listen to who I listen to. When they say, well, we want to make sure that women, children, trans, gay, lesbians, and others, and poor white folks, they never mention black boys. And y'all keep voting for these damn people. I refuse to vote for anybody who does not talk about a topic or has a policy and plan that I know that will positively, economically, educationally impact black boys. And I don't understand why so many black men are not cognizant or self-aware enough of their manliness or their maleness of their gender to also be advocates of black boys. For the lack of better English, what the fuck is wrong with you dudes? And this is another case. They want to chuck this under this is another case of black men not even being self-aware enough to protect black boys. You got 100 Negroes of America. You got all these goddamn black Greek-led organizations. And black boys are still at the bottom of all of the positive lists in America. But at the top of damn near all of the negative lists. Got all these men's groups, all these, be it secret or public organizations, and black boys aren't benefiting. They let them know they got the script as well. I don't expect women to look out for boys. But really I do. Because when you get 30 years old, woman, and then you wait so late to try to find a husband, you would think that your fathers and mothers will teach you, look, be kind to these dudes. I mean, the ones you think don't have the swagger, those are the ones who usually turn out to be your engineers, your doctors, your professors, the people who can be actual providers. And sweetheart, it's okay to look for the fun in the guy, the swagger, or the streetness, but that's not who you give all your jewels to. You need to nurture and empower that boy right there who doesn't have on the Jordans in the 9th grade. He has on just regular Chuck Taylors or y'all call some buddy tennis shoes, but he got a backpack full of books. Teach your daughters to use their power to grow them so they can become part of the over 53% of white women who grow up, go to college, get a degree, but still end up with a neurosurgeon, a professor, or a bus driver. Someone who's a protector and provider. You got all these women, black women, when you see married, they don't even see marriage. That's bullshit. That's unfortunate. Because they've been taught incorrectly about their womanhood. They've been taught, well, I'm Superman just like Superman. And they've been taken out of their nature as the feminine side of the masculine man. You let these white feminists talk you out of your womanhood. I'll keep saying it. Y'all let these white feminists and these angry, unattractive black feminists, Deborah Cooper, Brittany Cooper, Bales, what's that bitch name? Bales Palsy, whatever the fuck that whore's name. She dead. She died. Rest in piss. Y'all let these angry, unattractive feminists talk y'all out of y'all womanhood. You can get all the money you want to. Who stopped you? You can get all the degrees you want to. But why is it that Hispanic women go get an education, Asian women get an education, no law degree, medical degree, white women get one, and they still end up with a man, a husband, a protector, provider, even with a college degree? So that debunks this lie that, a lot of black men, they're intimidated by a woman who gets her degree. That's not it at all. You've allowed those other group of women to talk you out of your womanhood. That's why a lot of you don't know what femininity is. Some of you are so stupid, you think femininity and woman gentility is something you can turn on and off. It's not, fool. It's something that's in you as a little girl. But somehow y'all get raised by these angry mamas or these stupid fathers that tell you, man, don't trust now, nigga. No, don't let him talk you out of this. Talk against men to your daughters. Fathers, who y'all think they supposed to date? Because a lot of you are setting your daughters up to be alone, get by a dog and die alone. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. Or to lay up with some woman. Because you as fathers, in your hypocrisy, when you have daughters, you talk your daughters against sons, against men, because she was born with a vagina. And you know what you did to a multitude of vaginas, even her mama. So you don't want the thought of somebody beating your daughter coochie up. Isn't that something? You want to put her coochie up on the glass shelf instead of teaching her appropriately, having that conversation as a man to your daughter about sex and sexuality and how she should understand her virtue as a young woman. He'd not tell her you should suppress your sexuality. Yeah, girls are supposed to be blushing when they see boys. And teenage girls, 17, 18, when they get to college, yeah, they're going to have sex. But teach her how to have it. And teach her how not to become, the pass-around bride. Or how not to become the little slut on campus. Or known as the easy girl in the high school or the junior high school. That could be done. But y'all get over yourselves, dads. Get over yourself, dads of daughters. Hell. I'm going to ask again. What drove that 12-year-old boy to want to shoot his mother in an attempt to kill her, shoot his sister who eventually died about a week later from her gunshot wound, and then turn the gun on himself? And I'm going to end by saying this. That old thing what Malcolm X said, about black women being the most unprotected, disregarded, disrespected. That was for the 1964 when he said it then. That's not true today. Because we can look at social media and see they're disrespecting themselves. They got more booty pictures. They on OnlyFans. They on Instagram. They celebrate little sluts like Suki Hana and they all the video, they're thrusting their vaginas and got on thongs, and they're very sexualized. I guess that's what the white women told them, that's sexual empowerment. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all let these white women fool y'all. Sexual empowerment is you portraying yourself as a whore. You know, thrusting your vagina in all your music videos, on OnlyFans, sucking and throwing up on a man's penis, nasty Sukihana, celebrating tramps like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, the City Tramps, and who else all these little nasty R&B girls, women with 3 kids, about 4 different baby daddies, showing their ass all on Instagram with their daughters. You know, that's what y'all call sexual revolution and sexual empowerment. For the men who like easy coochie, I say, hey, I ain't knocking it. I'm telling you, it goes against your very spirit as a woman. And that's why a lot of you are suffering. That's why you're sounding stupid like Ebony K. Williams. Talking about, well, you know, the men just aren't there. They're not earning the money. But you go to Asian men, don't get no taller than 5'5", 5'6". They got wives and children. Mexican men get up to, on average, 5'6", 5'7". They got a house full of children, and they got a wife, house full of children, and they go out, a lot of them go out and pour cement all day, or get on the back of trucks and go look for work, but they go home to a cooked meal and a respectful, submissive wife. But black men got to all be over 6 foot, all have $10 million in the bank, and everything else. Stupid. You've been talked out of your own womanhood. And so when Malcolm X made that comment, he was talking about the women of that day. Because the women of 45 years ago, or 50 years ago, were not these little tramps of the last 20 years. They were more reserved. They were more dignified. They had more self-control and presented, they were more feminine women. That's who he was talking about. He's mainly talking about the women who are in the nation. But also women in society in the 1950s and 60s they were covered, dignified, sultry, attractive, weight appropriate. Got all these moo cows running around here with the clothes off. Ew. They didn't present themselves as overly sexualized. See, y'all have taken that because you used Malcolm X to try to justify your foolishness, your whoredom, your bad behavior. But today, even back then, and I'll say even especially right now, and y'all take this, I've added something to this quote, Malcolm X, I've remixed it. The most unprotected, the most disrespected, the most disregarded, the most discarded, the most neglected, the most attacked person in America and the world is the black boy and the black man. And I can just say black children, but specifically black boys and black men. The research has been done. Y'all won't read it. Shout out to Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. Shout out to Brother Michael Porter. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. Shout out to Dr. Amos Wilson. Shout out to Doctors Nathan and Julia Hare. They've done the work, but you won't read it. So anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I have to get ready to try to, psychologically or therapeutically save some lives today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.